what is it that I'm capable of accomplishing today? What will make me feel whole and complete, even though my life isn't exactly the way that I would like it to be? Hello, I'm Jacalyn Kerbeck, the president and owner of Dr. Jacalyn LLC Life Coaching. I work with busy professionals and type A overachievers, people who have career changes in mind, people who are going through relationship changes, people who have chronic illnesses, and people who are interested in taking what I call the weeds out of their life and finding authentic happiness. I've been working with individuals in a coaching and mentoring capacity over the last 30 years. In my experience in my corporate world, I have worked with many well-known organizations worldwide to help put together programs to drive behavior change, to have people more aligned with their leadership and organizational goals. And through that process, I've helped people find their inner motivation so that they can feel accomplished and also fulfilled in terms of their current day desires, as well as where they see themselves going in the future. I have a master's degree as well as a doctorate, and I am currently on my course of attaining a master's in life coaching certification. I have been working with individuals through the Crohn's Colitis Foundation as well as the Psoriasis Foundation, as I am an ulcerative colitis and psoriasis patient myself. And so I've found that many individuals feel the same way that I do or have felt in living in shame and isolation of having an incurable disease. So this really helped push me to start my business as a life coach, because I found that not just in corporate America and not just in support groups, but people are really struggling today in a number of areas, and they get stuck on something which I call ineffective patterns of behavior, and I help them come up with a new pattern of behavior so that within the course of our life coaching session, which is typically 60 to 90 minutes, we will work on one topic, something that has come up for them for that day, for that hour or 90 minutes. And by the end of the time that we're working together, they will have developed an action plan to help them come up with an approach to find resolution to this particular issue. Technology is really tremendous because with the platforms like Zoom and Skype, clients don't have to travel to see me. Although I am available to meet with them in person, they can meet with me when it's convenient for them and when I have availability through the Zoom or Skype platform. So this gives them the ability to still feel like they're making a connection with someone because they can actually see me and I can see them, but yet it's more convenient for them. They don't have to leave wherever it is they are at the moment. I feel there are several things that set me apart from what others in this industry are doing. First of all, believe it or not, globally, you do not have to have any type of education or background to be a life coach. And I do have the educational background, and I'm also working on a certification. But I also feel one main difference is that I really do care, and I really do listen. And there are 3 types of listening. The third type is where you are completely entrenched in what that person is saying. And I'm very confident at doing that. I can be fully present and listening to what my clients' needs are, and then I will ask them powerful questions which will enable them to find insights within themselves. So it's not that I'm giving any advice or making any type of judgment. I'm really helping my clients to peel back their own onion, if you will, and come up with an insight that will help them find peace and happiness on that particular topic. The most rewarding piece for me about what I do, 2 things come to mind right away. I had someone say to me about 6 months ago, she has a chronic illness, and she heard me speak somewhere at a convention, and afterwards we did a coaching session, and she said that she felt like I saved her life. And that is just so motivating and just touches my heart. Through my life, I've lived in shame and fear and humiliation that I wasn't going to be able to make it through a meeting, or I wasn't going to be able to get from point A to point B without something happening that wouldn't be pleasant. And so there were many times when I didn't get to where I needed to go, and I went through all of the feelings of just feeling inadequate and why me. And after going through this for a while, I thought to myself, well, this is what your situation is. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to take this and make it into a positive? Because you could just give up if you want, but that's not who you are. I think the other component to really transformation is to be in a community with others who are experiencing a similar thing. And you realize, you know what? I'm not so special because I have this illness, or I'm not so special because I lost my money, or I'm not so special because I lost my job, or whatever the case may be. You get with other people who are positive, other people who are inspiring, and people who are not willing to accept that this is all that there is. And then your attitude is going to start to change too. So start removing some of those weeds or the negativity that surrounds you in life, whether it's people, whether it's something you're watching on television, whether it's a path you're walking to get wherever you have to go every day. Change it into a positive experience, and your whole mindset will also follow. Well, the first thing with life coaching is it's very different than therapy. And I just want to explain a little bit about that. When you go to a therapist, and I've gone at different times of my life, you're really focusing on what's happened in the past. You're focusing on the emotions that are tied to that and how you're all caught up in that today. A life coach works with someone with an issue that is a current day issue that's important for you to find resolution or a plan of action so that you can move forward. So when I'm working with CEOs, or if I'm working with people who are making career changes, what we do is we don't focus on how they got to where they are. We look at what is something that you want to focus on today that's going to help you with your career or in your life. And typically they'll start talking about one thing, and we might be 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes in, and we're on a completely different subject. That might correlate to something that is tied to their career or their position as a CEO, or it might have nothing to do with that. It might have to do with something that they're experiencing in their personal life, or in their health, or in their finances. And we zone in on whatever that is, and that's what we work on for that particular session. One of the challenges that I've heard more times than not from clients is their inability to manage their time. And the fact that they can't manage their time, they're unable to do all the things that they want to do. What's interesting is that in every life coaching session where the client has shared this, time management was not their issue. Their real issue was insecurity or fear. And what typically happens is they can't manage their time because they're terrified that they're going to fail. And so by not doing anything, they're not going to fail. But yet, not doing anything is really failing in and of itself. So my clients and I work together to try to get this out in the open, where they're at least hearing themselves say, I realize it's not time management, or I might say something to them like, you know, in my experience, I had a similar situation, and what I found was, it's not that I couldn't manage my time, I was afraid to take the first step. What comes up for you when you hear me saying that? And the client will say, that's exactly what I was thinking. So from there, we put a plan in place, and some clients want to have an actual tool. So as a life coach, we do have different tools that we can use. Or they might want to just literally write down an action plan of next steps. And what I will do is I will follow up with them after the session, and I will email them or text them, hey, Joe, how did you do with step number 1 from when we spoke earlier today? And they typically will have completed step number 1. And that in and of itself is liberating. So from there, they become unstuck. And then we continue to work together, and then we can actually put a plan in place for them to have a goal, as opposed to looking at what can they do, not what can't they do. People can find me in a variety of ways. The first is through my website, which is drjacalyn.com, and my first name is spelled Jacalyn. They can also find me on Yelp under Dr. Jacalyn LLC, and I'm on Facebook as well as Instagram under Dr. Jacalyn LLC. They can email me at jacalyn@drjacalyn.com, and they can also call my mobile phone, which is 610-745-3113.